mobile device in silent mode. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon once again. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the second session of the scientific paper presentation. In this session, I would like to inform and update to all of you that we have 3 presenters to be presenting their research paper. Before we start our session, I would like to remind of the rule to obey for the presenter. The presenter is given 10 minutes to present the research paper. The first bell will ring once the presenter begins the presentation. The second bell will ring 2 times to indicate the presenter has 2 minutes left to finish the presentation. The cue card will be displayed in my left side. The end of the presentation session will ring 3 times. The cue card will rest as well. Okay. Once the presentation ends, the Q&A session will begin. In this session, 5 minutes will be allocated, and the bell will ring 2 times to indicate the Q&A session will end. For those who are attended via online, you may drop your question in the Q&A chat box channel given. All presenters must adhere to the time given and aware of the turn to present for the smoothness of the presentation session. Lastly, all presenters are required to remain seated, relax, enjoy the presentation to make sure this session runs smoothly. Before we start, I would like to introduce to all of you to the moderator that will conducting this session. He is the Senior Director of Change Management Officer, Department of Statistics Malaysia, Sir Muhammad Yazid bin Qasim. Welcome. Dear moderator, this floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. And Assalamualaikum and very good evening to everyone. So, as mentioned by the Mr. Chairman, we will be having 3 scientific papers. And first of all, I would like to welcome participants who attended this session physically in Suasana Kijang, as well as our participant online participant, which currently about 31 people online. So the theme of this session basically will discuss about the economic impact of technology advancement, and perhaps we have 3 papers this evening. So the first one will be about analyzing the impact of technological advancement on economic from an input and output perspective. The second one will be the impact of the losses and damages by floods, the case study in Klang Subremo. And the final one will be healthcare insurance fraud detection using benefit law. So I would like to introduce our presenter today. So the first one, Ms. Nurul Izzati, which is from Belgium, and the second one, Ilyas, also from Belgium, and Associate Professor Dr. Lai from Taylor's University. So without no further ado, I think I would like to invite our first presenter, Ms. Nurul Izzati, to present his papers. Please.
From Department of Statistics Malaysia. I would like to present my paper on title. And then I this is my outline, introduction, result and discussion. And for the introduction, the infrastructure, including high-speed internet and nationwide 4G coverage. And the COVID-19 pandemic further accelerated the shift towards platform remote workforce and e-commerce, clarifying the importance of IT across gross value added reached 242.7 billion, with ICT services contributing 41.9%. ICT manufacturing 38.4%. ICT the equity asset rate 40% and content media 5.7%. ICT manufacturing was a key driver supported by component electric boards, communication equipment, and consumer electronics. ICT product export surged by 24.9% to RM 4.5 billion, while imports grew 80.5% to RM 308.8 billion, highlighting the sector's significance in global trade. And for if demand increased by 25%, in driving economic growth, particularly with sectors tied to the energy and electronics, we are assuming a 25% increase in export demand across various industries. This is particularly significant for sectors such as electronic components and board, communication equipment, and consumer electronics, and computer, peripheral, and office equipment. These industries are among the primary contributors to our country's export portfolio, and any surge in demand directly translates into substantial output growth. Now, looking at the graphic, we can see the electronic components export is expected to experience the highest output growth, nearly 50%. This illustrates how crucial this sector is for maintaining and increasing our competitiveness in global markets. Other sectors like communication equipment and consumer electronics are also poised for significant increases, with the allowed rate of 20.7% and 9.9% respectively. This indicates that while all these sectors benefit from technological advancement, the extent varies with some increases much more pronounced growth. So let's pick the question, how exactly does this increase in demand ripple through the economy? To fully understand the broader impact of growth in one sector, we need to explore the concept of backward and forward linkages. So, next slide. Backward and forward linkages. Now, let's dive into backward and forward linkages, which are essential tools for understanding how different sectors in the economy are interconnected. Now, by looking at the quadrants here, we can classify sectors based on their linkages: strategic sector, key sector, independent sector, and driven sector. So let me explain roughly about backward linkages. Backward linkages measure how much a sector stimulates demand from its supplier. For instance, if demand increases in the electronic components, import sector is supplied whether they provide raw material, machinery, or other intermediate goods, will experience heightened demand for their products. This ripple effect throughout the supply chain is critical in understanding the broader economic impact of growth in any single sector. On the other hand, forward linkages capture how much a sector output is used as an input by other sectors. Strong forward linkages mean that a sector products are crucial for the operation of multiple downstream industries. For example, technological products like electronic components are key input for sector ranging from telecommunication to consumer electronics. Okay. Output multiplier. This let's now we proceed to illustration of output multiplier. It helps us understand how changes in one sector to ripple through the economy affected other sectors. As mentioned before, an output multiplier quantifies the total impact that a change in demand for one sector has on the broader economy. It measures how much overall economic output increases in response to an additional unit of demand in a specific sector. There are three ways in which this multiplier happens. Firstly, direct effect. Second, indirect effect, and induced effect. Direct effect when demand for a sector product increases, it immediately leads to increased production in that sector. Indirect effect, to meet this demand, this sector will require more input from its supplier. This generates additional demand in related sectors and creating a ripple effect through the supply chain. For induced effect, it will increase activity in both the sector and its supplier, generate a higher income for employees, which in turn leads to more consumer spending across the economy. This is the final phase of the multiplier effect. Using the computer and peripheral equipment industry as example, let's assume there is a RM 1 million increase in demand for computer, peripheral, office equipment, and machinery. This increase will have ripple effect across several related sectors. Direct effect, the companies directly involved in the production of computer and peripheral and immediate increase in production to this demand. In this case, there is 1 million to boost productive. Then the conclusion, ICT sector are highly affected by technological advancement, particularly electronic component and board. It is expected that the output electronic component and board will increase by 49.3% to the demand changes, highlighting the crucial role in technological infrastructure and innovation. And sectors effectively communication equipment and consumer electronics is pivoted in the digital transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dandy. So we have another about 4 minutes left for the audience in social media and online. So I would like to open the floor for any question for this presentation. Please, anyone? You can post your question through a chat box. Anyone? So for those attending this session, I think input available is about massive and comprehensive data, economic data. So it is very tough to compile this one. But the importance of this input available basically for that policy formulation, you can extract this data and play around with the numbers. And whatever presented today, I think is some of basic analysis tools that should be applied when you want to plan something about, let's say, for introducing technology, focusing some funds or program about elevating the economic sector. So again, I would like to open anyone from the audience. Please.
So, I have a question to ask you. Is there any observation compared to other, probably other countries with regard to these studies? And how is, in terms of the performance as compared to other countries I mentioned, Singapore? So is it the data consistent or you be able to share with other countries?
We are using the Singapore as like a guideline to as a benchmark to follow their calculation, their but the calculation, the methodology and so on. And we also have the ADP to teach us the bahagian future economy, especially import-output section. They teach us how to and guide us how to use import-output because the import is like and technical to understand and basically is the learning the Singapore the country that we follow.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I would like to move to another paper, the second paper of this session. So as we are facing extreme climate change today, I think one of the important reaction or reflection that we need to do is to measure the losses or damages by this natural disaster. So in this case, this is another physical effort that's being conducted by the outer and his co-outer. So I would like to invite Mr. Ilyas, and if you have any question, please jot down first, and then we will open the question session after the presentation. Please keep your presentation precise and put the time given. Thank you.
Thank you for Mr. Yan for introducing me. Okay. And also thank you for the all attendees for the joining and having time for the presentation. Okay, my name is Mohammed and today I would like to present the impact of losses and damages by part a case study in Trans Lampung. So this is the type of content, so I would like to first starting with the introduction. So according to MDEC, hundreds of disasters have been recorded resulting in 11,000 of deaths and affecting 95 million people and causing USD dollars 103 billion in economic losses globally. Economic losses and damages are increasing worldwide with a growing exposure identified as a key factor driving this rise. So at the end of the 2020, massive flood hits all the districts of Kelang, with the area suffering severe damage and significant property loss. So according to Lawan, all that in Metro Manila, the decision to stay in a flood-prone areas is influenced by the factors such as the attachment to the homes, acclimatization to the environment, convenient access to amenities, livelihood dependence, economic concerns, population, and the precipitancy from floods. And then flash floods event can also lead to severe disruptions and damage to the particularly affecting the more vulnerable segments of the population and their assets. So this study is limited to the flood effects assessment towards the economic aspect by evaluating the level of loss faced by the individuals in Kelang Selangor. So for the methodology, so the study was conducted based on the primary data collected through face-to-face interview from the 10th to 14th of January. And the study utilized the both descriptive and regression analysis to identify the relationship between the level willingness of the respondent living in a house with losses and various physical and socioeconomic variables. So this is the location that the survey has been conducted in to measure the impact of the floods in terms of categories of damages. Okay, and then for the descriptive analysis, so the most of the respondents are made with 72.3%, and in terms of ethnic, Malay has the highest respondent compared to others ethnicity at 31.7%. And for the duration of the respondent occupancy in their living quarters, more than 9 years is the most prevalent category at 52.3%. And in addition, the distance between houses and rivers situated within less than 2 kilometers is 63.9%. And regarding the occurrence of flood, the majority of respondents, 45.8%, have never experienced a flood. And lastly, the majority of the respondents, 89.9%, expressed willingness to continue living in their house despite the flood risk rather than regulating to other spaces. While for the numerical variable, the type of estimate is loaded for the structure of living quarters. So on average, per house, the losses is estimated is about RM 7.6 thousand, and for equipment, furniture, clothes, and electrical appliances, it's about RM 7.1K, and for the livestock and agriculture, it's about 1.6 thousand. And for the vehicle, it's 5.4 thousand. Post flood cleanup is 1.2 thousand, and for the overall loss is on average 14.1K. And then after that, we are extend the analysis to the more to on differential sensitivity, which is reported with the binary logistic regression. And then based on the scatter plot closely aligns with the horizontal line with a zero intercept. So this observation suggests that the model is adequate. So based on the overall model, so only two variables are significant, which means that for the durations for duration 5, which means that it's more than 9 years, and for the cleanup cost, that our intention is probability that respondent has the willingness to live in the house. So for the result of the ratio test, likelihood ratio test for the reduced model for the final model, shows that the variable should be removed from the model since and then we run back the only significant variables that we proceed. So for the chi-square, statistics with 30.256 with a p-value is less than 0.005 indicates that the model is significant predict. factors in the logistic model. And then for the chi-square for optimal dimensional test, so we studied that the logistic model is good if the p-value is greater than 5%. So and then for the classification table, shows that the percentage of correct classification is 90.1%, while the error rate is of the model is 90.9%. So, okay, so let's do a discussion. So this study identified the impact of flash flood events in plant city through estimating the losses and damage due to the flash flood. So based on the interpretation, most of the respondents willing to live in the house, even though has the risk of flood due to the difficult in finding another house and their own house and financial factors and the basic amenity and close towards and family. So and then it support with the study by Safi Yusman highlighted several reasons for the flood occurrences, including the area's demography, the location of houses, improper and inaccurate information and evacuation plans for management of transit center and lack of community preparedness. So also in Kajang, the event in December 2011 caused the damage with estimated value about 2.4 million, and furthermore, at least 3 incidents were reported in 2014, causing a loss estimate at approximately RM 150,000 per event. So, as a conclusion, so this study has highlighted the significant impact of floods on the community in Kelang Selangor, particularly in terms of economic losses, infrastructural damage, and social disruption. So to address these challenges, it is imperative that the local authorities, policymakers, and stakeholders collaborate to implement a sustainable flood management strategy. So overall, this study contributes to the better understanding to the flood impact in Kelang and provide actionable insight that can inform future flood mitigation. So as an acknowledgement, so I would like to extend my thanks to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, local Kelang, and also a dozen Selangor for their assistance in data collection and reported that make the study possible, and special thanks to the MYSTATS2024 for the confidence study. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilyas. Thank you for a very insightful paper, and I think this is one of the effort to close the gap about how to produce disaster statistics. So as we are very prone to climate change, I think there should be official data, official statistics about disaster that caused by flash flood, for example. So now I would like to open any question for the audience, please. Thank you.
Can I see the slide?
Can you introduce your?
Okay. This is Kamal from BPN. I want to see the slide. Classification table. So I think in your study, your result is affected by the problem of imbalance data. If you can see at the classification table, your model is not able to prepare those who are not going back to their home. I mean, plus, okay, you're only able to predict those who are willing to come back to their home. Meaning that features that you demand from your data is not suitable to interpret those who are not going back to their homes. That issue that you have to resolve. Okay.
I face it with the embedded data in terms of predicting the it's like a bias to this one who unwilling to live in that house.
That's the problem of whether you having a cancer or not. So if the person is more affected on the cancer, so the result will be same like this one. If you are more interested on those who are going back to their home state, but if you are interested on those who are not going back to their home, so the result will not be valid.
Anyone from online participant? So at the first day, I think this is we call it an exploratory survey, but I think we need to improve it in future. Basically, in terms of selecting the sample and also to set the objective of the survey, basically. But this is another effort that being produced by the Department of Physics and the government to fulfill the gap. If there's no more question, I think I would like to move on to another paper. So this is another interesting topic. Basically, I think everyone currently further to contribute for insurance or takaful. I think we are getting paid. We paid more simply because of more claims. I don't know whether it's a genuine claims or not. So here we have Dr. Lai from Taylor Beauty. We'll be talking about healthcare insurance fraud detecting using benefit law. I think this is a very significant study about how we can check or cross-check about the genuinity of the claim. So I would like to invite Dr. Lai for your paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lai. I'm presenting the work, joint work with my students, Yap Wei Han. Both of us were from the Actuarial Master School of Accounting and Finance, Taylor University. So the presentation is structured into the following 6 sections. We'll start with some introduction background, followed by methodology, result, discussion, conclusion, and some selected references. Moving on to introduction. So it has been reported that on average, okay, the annual loss due to insurance fraud is reported to be around USD 300 billion. That's a very big number. So in insurance companies, what actuaries do is that they must price the product accurately and fairly so that the company can at least get some profit. And at the same time, it's not too expensive, otherwise the customer will buy from the different companies. So to cope for this insurance fraud, they adopt this a very conservative pricing where it transfers the financial burden to policyholders, the clients, the insured, which results in slightly higher premium. So let's say originally they need to pay 200, but due to all this insurance fraud, to make up for this 300 billion thing, they need to pay slightly more. And in the literature, there are a lot of very advanced methods, a lot of different machine learning models that have been used. But normally they are very sophisticated. They are overly computationally expensive. They take a lot of time, a lot of cost to train these models. So which brings to the tools that we use in this work. We call it Benford's law. It's a very straightforward statistical tool. It's just a straightforward formula. It has been applied successfully in some applications, for example, forensic accounting, where they look at the accounting data and they manage to pick up the suspicious data. And in addition, it has also been applied successfully in electoral fraud detection. During election, there are some suspicious patterns, and they use Benford's law to pick this up. And it must be emphasized that this Benford's law, it can be only applied to naturally occurring numbers, such as insurance claim amount, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 10 ringgit, stock prices, 1.5 ringgit, 2.5 ringgit, and so on. And it is not to be applied to pre-assigned numbers. For example, phone numbers 016, 013, they all start with a 0. Or everyday claim amounts after the policy limit is applied. So let's say the policy limit is 500. So every number more than 500, it will be capped at 500. So this law cannot be applied. So let's look at the formula. The probability P of the leading digit, which I call D, is given by this logarithm base 10, 1 plus 1 over D. So D is referring to the leading digit, which is the first digit. So let's say you have a number 1, 2, 3, the leading digit will be 1. So the leading digit will be 0. So we can only have 1 to 9. So for example, if you plug in D to be 1, the probability is 0.3%. Moving on to methodology, we use this 4-step flowchart. We get the data from Kaggle website. However, it must be highlighted that this is just a synthetic data. It contains around 64,000 observations. It's from a Medicare dataset, and it focuses on inpatient IP and outpatient OP and reimbursement amount, the amount reimbursed to the policyholders, and gross claim, the amount submitted by the policyholders. And in terms of data pre-processing, we use Microsoft Excel and also R programming, where we extract the first digit of the data, and we calculate the total number of observations. Step number 3, for experiment and simulation, and then we fit these the numbers that we get from step 2 to what Benford's law has predicted. So we generate a combo chart. And step number 4, we'll be using 3 different performance metrics. Number 1 is the Z-test. It is used to measure how many standard deviations the observed distribution of each respective digit. So the Z-test here, it is to be applied to individual digit. As opposed to chi-square, it is applied to the overall, the combination of the 9 digits. And lastly, we have MAD, mean absolute deviation. This is also to be applied to the entire data set. So the first, this is a combo chart. We have the line in pink. This is what is predicted by Benford's law. And then we have the 4-color bar chart. Each color represents one category. So we have inpatient, outpatient, we have reimbursement, and also the claim amount. So if you look at the bar chart here, then the Benford's law can predict quite accurately, except for digit number 2 and number 3, where the blue and green color one that slightly deviates from what Benford's law is predicting. Okay, for the next 2 slides, I'll be showing you 2 tables. The first table is for the inpatient category. So inpatient means that the patient is being admitted to the hospital. Inpatient, they stay in the hospital. So we can look at the Z-stat. Those numbers with star means that it deviates from what Benford's law has predicted. So quite a number out of 9 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9 digits. It deviates from what Benford's law has predicted. So this applies to both reimbursement and gross claim. So these are for the individual case. For the overall case, we look at the chi-square p-value. If the p-value is less than 0.05 by default, then it means that it conforms. So the p-values that we get for both cases are really, really small. In terms of MAD, mean absolute deviation, the numbers are very small, 0.01 and 0.02. So according to the guideline provided by previous researchers, the first case, it says acceptable conformity, but the second case, it shows a non-conformity. And we look at the second table, which is for the case for outpatient. The patient stays out of the hospital, okay? Outpatient category. So we get a similar result, but we focus on the MAD. Both are showing close conformity. So there's some interesting insights from the tables. It's we arrive at a contradictory result. The inpatient gross claim, this is a claim amount submitted to the insurance company. These are referring to the original raw data set without any manipulation. For the reimbursement amount, this is the amount reimbursed given to the policyholder by the insurance companies after they have applied some deductible policy limit. So this is the revised, the manipulated amount. So intuitively speaking, the raw data would conform to Benford's law because this is the raw data. But in this case, we get a contradictory result. And the second point is about the excess power problem. where when you apply this chi-square test, you tend to get very small p-value because of the very large sample size, and the test statistics will have a very big value. So this prompts us to use other statistical tests, such as MAD, to complement the chi-square test to provide an additional insight. So as conclusion, we have this contradictory result, which is not what we expect. And then the excess power problem faced by the chi-square test, that's why we apply the MAD, the combo chart, and also the set test. Now, in terms of limitation, we use this data set from paper, which is just a synthetic data set. It's not a real-life data set. So when we do research in actual science, it's very difficult for us to get access to real data from insurance company. They have their own regulations and privacy terms and conditions. And then the second point is that deviations from Benford's law, it does not necessarily imply that the cases are fraudulent. So we can only apply this Benford's law to serve as a very preliminary statistical test. We still need a further test. You can further algorithm should be used to investigate further. So for future works, to overcome the problem of the lack of data, we can use a simulated data set, which we proposed by other researchers, which can generate more realistic and more representative actuarial insurance data. Number two is that we must complement the result from Benford's law by more advanced machine learning models. Though they are expensive, they are time-consuming, that can give us more justification. And lastly is to ascertain insurance data set that includes co-payment. So the data set that we have, they do include policy limit and deductible, but they don't include the co-payment and co-insurance. So it will be interesting to look at a data set that has this co-payment and co-insurance feature, because Bank Negara Malaysia that has just released this policy to all the insurance and takaful operators to make sure that all the products offered must include this co-payment feature. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, and so very insightful again. Yeah, I will not be commenting further, but I will open from the floor if you have any question or suggestion or comments. There are three questions. I think which one first? Okay. Our gentleman.
My name is Dr. Musabi. I am from KM. So actually, I would like to know further about machine learning models. If you try to implement machine learning models to your problem, what kind of problem you try to develop from the issuing perspective?
You need models.
The problem. For the problem that you like under machine learning, we have the right regression models and classification models. I would like to know what kind of problem we will do using the machine learning models, and then the second one, what kind of machine learning models we will use to take that problem.
Thanks for the question. So if you're going to use a machine learning, it's going to be a classification problem, because we're going to classify whether the data set is authentic, real, or a fraudulent data set. And in machine learning, we have a supervised and unsupervised learning. So normally for fraud detection, it's very difficult to get a data set where you can apply supervised learning. So normally it will be unsupervised learning. It's like K-means algorithm, where you just provide like 100 data set to the machine learning. Then you say, okay, the machine learning will say, out of this 100 data set, 2 of them are very suspicious. So this is unsupervised. So in terms of models, we can use a lot of different models, naive-based, random forest, up to the very bombastic deep learning.
One question from what?
Thank you, Doctor. An interesting presentation. Can you tell me like what the rationale between fraudster behavior and the digits that you are considering in this? I mean, the identifying or the distribution of digits here.
Okay.
Just like you did.
That's one question. So, if you have an original data set without any manipulation, so let's say you submit 100 claims, so 30 of them will start with digit 1, maybe it's 120 ringgit, 105 ringgit, 1,005 ringgit. But let's say if you accidentally submitted two wrong data set, then it will not follow this 30%. It will end up with 35% or 25%. This is what the third law is predicting. It can be applied to look at the overview of the entire data set. But even if you found out that you only get 35, there's still a small possibility that they are all real data. So then third law will just use it to like the first round of a filter to check whether there's any possibility of a suspicious data. Yeah, this is a very preliminary. We still need like more advanced algorithm, but because it's very fast, so we can just use it to filter for just.
Thank you. So perhaps that's another insightful from maybe forensic account. I can expand to it later, but if there is no more question, I think we would like to thank, oh, another one, the last one. That's it.
And which power? Is then third law can be related to power law? Which power? Same like this one, but my version of the critical. I think it's related. They use sometimes they use a different base, and then sometimes they have a different version that they look at two first digits instead of the first one. Because I think the our law is not just estimating the probabilities. This part the mechanism that generate the data. So how your Bedford law can it is proposed by previous researchers. What they found out is that in the older day, that they use instead of using calculators, they use this formula to get the square root of certain numbers. So they found out that in the entire booklet, only the first few pages are more crumbled. It means that it has been referred more. So they come out with this 30%. It goes with the later page, start with 8 and 9. It's all very clean, very clean. So that they look into this and come out with this distribution.
Thank you. Welcome to see. So we came to the end of the session actually, but this is very interesting topic, some exploratory, and perhaps in terms of the applied of this finding, I think it's very useful for many fields actually. So I hope we can see you for the next MYSTAT for the more advanced and more insightful paper also from the audience. So I would like to thank all the audience in this room and also 107 participants online. I think we should give a big applause to all these attending and presenters.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moderator, and Sheikh Muhammad Yazid Kasim, our Senior Director, Change Management Officer from the DOZA. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to inform and express our deepest gratitude to the moderator and the presenter. So, as a token appreciation giving, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin, our Chief Statistician of Malaysia, to deliver the token of appreciation to the moderator and presenter. Please, let us begin. First, we invite Senior Director, Change Management Officer, Sir Muhammad Yazid Kasim, to receive the token of appreciation. The first presenter, Wan Nurul Izzati Saidina from Economic Indicator Division, DOZEM. A second presenter, Encik Muhammad Ilyas Siddiq from Methodology and Research Division, DOZEM. And the last presenter, Dr. Lai Ki Huang from Taylor University. Alright, terima kasih Datuk Sri, dimohon terus kekal bersama untuk gambar kenangan bersama dengan moderator dan juga pembantang. Sebagai gambar kenang-kenangan. Okey, sebentar saja lagi gambar bersama, kita ambil bersama juga. Okey, dalam kiraan 1, 2, 3 gambar formal, take 1, take 2, take 3. Okey, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, alright, terima kasih. Dimohon semua yang hadir bersama dengan Datuk Seri bergambar sebagai gambar tanda kenang-kenangan kita. Sebelum kita mengakhiri majlis kita pada petang ini, dipersilakan semua. Sila. Okey, baiklah, yang berada di sebelah kiri pastikan hampir rapat ke kiri. Yang berada di sebelah kanan rapat lagi sedikit. Boleh ke belakang lagi sikit. Sila. Okey, kameraman dah dapat? Okey, sikit lagi di sebelah kanan saya. Masuk ke tengah sedikit. Okey, dalam kiraan 1, 2, 3, take 1 untuk gambar formal, take 2, take 3. Okey, thumbs up yang pertama, take 1, take 2, take 3. Thank you everyone. Okey, saya selaku urus setia mengucapkan terima kasih di atas kehadiran tuan-tuan dan puan-puan dalam majlis ini. Diucapkan terima kasih juga kepada semua yang telah membentang dan juga menjadi moderator. Terima kasih Datuk Seri. Sekali lagi kami mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih di atas kerjasama